Hello everyone, welcome to the last episode of our We Are the Women of NCIB podcast series. An informative, educational, eye-opening series where we've been talking to various women across CIB about women issues in their business unit sectors and their lives, their lived experiences, shared challenges, and how to overcome them. We hope you've enjoyed the series so far as much as we have. And I think it's safe to say that we have learned from each other, about each other, and most importantly, with each other. And as we wrap up the series, we chat to Nolukhanyo, or Khanyo, as she likes to be called, Avania, two women at NCIB who currently trailblazers in project financing the energy transition within the mining sector in South Africa. Welcome, ladies. And thank you for joining us as we wrap up Women's Month. And for everyone watching, please introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do at CIB, and how long you've been here.
Thank you so much, Romy. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be part of this series and sharing the stage with my wonderful colleague and friend, Avania.
Oh.
My name is Nolukhanyo Mqhayi, and thank you for the shortening of my name earlier to Khanyo. That's how I prefer to be called.
Okay, good. Khanyo, got it.
I'm an associate principal in the energy finance team within NCIB. Our team basically works on some cool stuff in the energy sector, powering up the continent and the country.
I mean, really,
you guys, it's great stuff. So essentially, functionally, what we do is we provide debt solutions, for projects that are aimed at generation of power. Okay. And as I mentioned, in the country and in the continent. And we do this for both government programs and our corporate and industrial clients on a limited recourse basis.
Amazing.
Thank you, Khanyo and Romy, and so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this amazing campaign with the both of you. What an exciting time for Khanyo and my colleagues in the energy finance team. As the world faces growing concerns over climate change, they get to play a role in solving it. And so do I. My name is Avania Moosa. I'm a principal in the Mining and Resources Finance team within NCIB. Mining is integral to the clean energy transition. As the world prepares to decarbonize, to get to net zero, we need to mine more of the critical minerals needed to make batteries, needed to make solar and wind technologies, and electric vehicles.
Yeah.
But with this comes age-old concerns. Can mining companies do so in an environmentally sustainable and socially responsible way? At NCIB, we certainly believe so. And through the impact of our financings, we aim to do so.
Oh, ladies, dealing with load shedding, we need you. You know what I mean? We need you. So lovely to meet you both. Now let's, get into our podcast and what we're really here to talk about and delving deeper into your dynamic sector and what it is you ladies do, the highs, the lows, the wins, the losses, growth and development, and everything in between. So you both work in quite a niche sector. It's very male dominated. It's mining, and I'm sure incredibly complex. How has the journey been so far? Avania, maybe we can start with you.
Thank you, Rami. Look, it's no secret. Investment banking is perceived as an old boys club.
Yeah.
With gender inclusivity, diversity, and equality only recently gaining traction. As I have seen over the past 2 decades, women taking on senior leadership roles within investment banking remains uncommon. When I first joined investment banking in 2006 as an in-house legal advisor, I was the first and the only woman in my team. I had very few female role models, and very quickly I became accustomed to being the only woman in the room. So for a female lawyer, and one without a finance background, to be in the front office, leading and concluding finances for major investment banking clients was just unthinkable. Thankfully, through the support, encouragement, and guidance of male allies, currently both my bosses today, here I am, a woman with a legal background in a front office investment banking team that is 50% female,
Wow.
having together with Khanyo led and concluded the first and largest renewable energy transaction in the mining sector in South Africa. A transaction which went on to win the African Power Deal of the Year at the Project Finance Institute Awards in 2022. So yes, Romy, a journey,
That is incredible.
albeit a rewarding journey. It has certainly
Sure,
been.
and probably a lot of lessons along the way that have been learned, but how far we've come, that half of it is now women. It's just incredible. And just to the men out there, you really do have a role to play too, to, you know, take us along on the journey and help us on this journey as well. Okay, yeah. Can you?
I think it was such a nice reminder hearing Avania
Hey?
speak about the transaction.
Like what you've actually done.
It's really
Incredible.
it's the stuff that makes us get out of bed, and it's very
Totally.
exciting. So I mean, in terms of the other things that you're saying, I absolutely echo what Avania is saying around the absence of women in senior leadership roles. It's quite glaring in NCIB. This is not to say that, of course, opportunities are limited just for men only. I mean, I think such an opportunity as well is an opportunity for us to showcase that, we're just as capable as the men. We're not here just because we're pretty. We are here because we've got...
We just add the pretty, which is good.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been able to lead pioneering work in the sector. The transaction that she's mentioning is a clear testament to that. I think since I've joined Nedbank, I've only been with the bank for 3 years. I've observed a strategy that is targeted at empowering women in pursuit of the inclusivity across the spectrums of diversity. In my personal space, I'm currently involved in a bespoke leadership program, having been nominated by my manager, and I've gained access to women such as Avania, such as yourselves. And it's been really enlightening. And I think just observing how the bank is actually bringing men along on the journey, as we all work towards
Absolutely.
meeting those DEI values, it's really enlightening. And yeah, it's great to be in the bank that values that.
Yeah, it's certainly encouraging.
Yeah.
I have to agree. It's actually, it's been quite a journey for both of you. It goes without saying that I think every journey we embark on in life will come across and have its own challenges for all of us. So what would you say those have been in your instance? And how have you overcome it? And maybe, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, Romy, that question is always such a, it forces one to think, right? Like I mentioned earlier, I think I've been with the bank for 3 years, and I've joined the bank. When I joined the bank 3 years ago, it was a full-on career change for me. My background is actually engineering. I was
Wow.
an engineering professional for more than a decade. So for me, the biggest challenge definitely so far has been pivoting from being an engineer to becoming a transactor, and this change was actually during lockdown. So I was doing this in front of a screen.
Challenge on challenge. Yeah.
I couldn't see the
Yeah,
beautiful
you
people
can't.
that I was working with and the great team. So I had to navigate this change in career, and just also navigate, I think, just from a personal space, just navigating my own thoughts and my own narrations about how I think about projects, moving from assessing them as an engineer to looking
now
at
as
the
a
other end of the
transactor.
value
Yeah,
chain.
totally different.
It's absolutely different. But one thing that I've always treasured as a professional is the usefulness of mentorship.